Imagine this. The internet is buzzing, fans are in disbelief, and the hip-hop world is literally shaking to its core. Jayda Wayda, the woman who has stood by Lil Baby through countless storms, dropped a bombshell so explosive that even the most seasoned industry insiders are clutching their pearls. We're talking about a jaw-dropping confession, an expose that nobody saw coming revelation so wild it has the power to rewrite Lil Baby's entire legacy. According to Jayda, there's a dark side to the fame, a side hidden behind the glitz, the designer fits, and the chart-topping hits. And in the center of it all, a shocking claim about humiliation, power games, and rituals that allegedly pushed Lil Baby into the most vulnerable position of his career. Fans are calling it the scandal of the decade. The whispers are turning into screams, and the industry? Completely divided. Was Jayda speaking her truth, or was this revenge served cold? Either way, the tea she spilled has set social media on fire. And tonight, we're breaking down every single detail of this messy, emotional, and unfiltered drama. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about Lil Baby. The tension had been brewing for months, but nobody could have predicted the level of chaos that unfolded once Jayda Wayda finally opened her mouth. At first, fans thought it was just another subliminal post. Maybe a cryptic tweet aimed at Lil Baby after one of their many arguments. But no, this time, Jayda wasn't being subtle. She went live, her voice trembling between anger and heartbreak, her eyes heavy with the kind of truth that can no longer be silenced. She told her audience that what she was about to share wasn't for clout, wasn't for headlines, but because the world deserved to know what really went down behind closed doors. And then, with a deep breath that almost felt rehearsed, dropped the line that made every fan lean in closer. You think y'all know him, but you don't know the rituals he had to go through just to stand where he stands today. The comments section exploded. People didn't know whether to believe her or not, but they couldn't look away. Some fans rushed to Lil Baby's defense, saying Jayda was just bitter. Others whispered that they had heard similar rumors before, that the industry was full of strange humiliations and secret societies. As Jayda's live continued, she painted a picture of a man trapped in a world where power came at a price, and that price was his dignity. She claimed she had walked in on things, heard conversations she wasn't supposed to hear, and even witnessed an encounter that left her shaken to the core. I can't even look at him the same, she confessed, wiping away tears. Because once you see your man on his knees for something that ain't got nothing to do with love or music, you start questioning everything. It wasn't just the words that shocked people, which was the conviction in her voice. She wasn't laughing, she wasn't smirking. This wasn't the usual petty social media back and forth. Jayda sounded broken, conflicted, as if the truth had been eating her alive for years. Fans typed comments like, "Oh my God, I knew it, and this explains so much." And while the live was quickly deleted, snippets had already been screen recorded and were circulating across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Within hours, the whole internet was buzzing with the phrase "gay humiliation ritual." And Lil Baby's name was trending worldwide. Back at his camp, Lil Baby was furious. Insiders claimed he stormed into a room full of his team, demanding answers about how to do damage control. "She's trying to ruin me," he reportedly shouted, slamming his phone onto the table. "Y'all better fix this." But the problem was, no amount of PR spin could erase the words that had already reached millions of ears. His brand, his street credibility, his image as one of rap's most untouchable figures, all of it was suddenly under fire. And in the shadows, his closest friends and associates started whispering amongst themselves, some questioning whether Jayda's claims might have a grain of truth. Jayda's family got pulled into the chaos too. Her mother was said to be deeply concerned, calling her nonstop and begging her to take back what she said. But Jayda stood firm. "I can't keep protecting him," she told a friend in a private phone call that later leaked. "The things I saw, the things I heard, they haunt me at night. I can't just smile and pretend like everything's normal." Those words, once released to the blogs, made the drama even messier. It was no longer about a bitter ex or a lover's quarrel. It had become a full-blown scandal, dragging families, friends, and fans into a whirlwind of suspicion. The internet became a battlefield. One side accused Jayda of fabricating stories to stay relevant, while the other side insisted she was bravely exposing the dark underbelly of fame. Memes popped up, think pieces were written, and YouTube commentators churned out video after video dissecting every word she said. One commentator even claimed that he had his own sources confirming that Lil Baby had been pressured into certain rituals when he first signed his deal. "It's how the industry works," the commentator declared dramatically. "You don't get that kind of success without sacrifice." The question is, what did he sacrifice? Meanwhile, Lil Baby remained eerily silent. Fans watched his Instagram stories closely, hoping for a clapback, a denial, anything. But he only posted vague messages like "haters gone," "hate," and "stay solid." To some, this silence looked like guilt. To others, it was proof that he was too above the drama to respond. But behind the scenes, insiders whispered that he was losing his cool, lashing out at people around him and feeling increasingly isolated. "He doesn't trust nobody right now," one insider claimed. "He feels like everybody's watching him, judging him, waiting for him to slip." Things took an even darker turn when an old friend of Lil Baby's suddenly resurfaced with his own story. He claimed that years ago, during a private gathering, he had witnessed Lil Baby being tested by powerful figures in the industry. They put him in a position where he had to choose between embarrassment and opportunity, the friend alleged, and he chose opportunity. The internet ate it up, fueling the flames of Jayda's original claims. Now, it wasn't just Jayda's word against Lil Baby, it was starting to look like a pattern. The emotional weight of it all was crushing for Jayda too. While some fans applauded her courage, others dragged her mercilessly, accusing her of trying to destroy the father of her child. She broke down again in a private conversation that later leaked to a gossip page. "Do you think I wanted to do this?" she sobbed. "I loved him. I wanted us to work. But how can I respect someone who let themselves get used like that? How can I trust a man who hides something that big from me?" Her vulnerability made some fans sympathize, but it also left others questioning her motives even more. Was she exposing the truth or just lashing out from a place of pain? Through all the noise, one thing became clear. This wasn't going away anytime soon. The scandal had become bigger than both of them. It wasn't just about Lil Baby's reputation. It was about the entire image of hip-hop, masculinity, and the hidden costs of success. Fans demanded answers, bloggers dug for receipts, and the streets buzzed with conspiracy theories. The drama had reached a boiling point, and yet everyone knew this was just the beginning. Because if Jayda had revealed this much, there was always the possibility she had even more shocking details waiting to drop. And the question on everyone's lips was simple. What would she say next? The tension only deepened in the days following Jayda's shocking live. What had started as whispers was now a full-blown roar across every corner of the internet. The Shade Room posted clip after clip of fans debating, while Twitter threads broke down every possible theory about what kind of ritual Jayda might have been hinting at. People dug up old photos of Lil Baby looking uncomfortable at industry parties, zooming in on the expressions of the people around him, claiming they could see signs of hidden shame. Whether the evidence was real or not didn't even matter anymore once the seed of doubt had been planted. It grew into a wildfire. Jayda herself remained strangely quiet after her initial reveal, which only added more fuel to the fire. Fans speculated that she had been silenced, either by fear or by pressure from Lil Baby's camp. "She's probably under NDA now," one fan suggested in the comments. They don't want her saying more. Another insisted she was sitting on more explosive information, waiting for the perfect moment to drop it. Everyone was on edge, refreshing her socials, anticipating the next twist behind the scenes. Lil Baby was reportedly furious at how fast the story had spiraled. Insiders claimed he called Jayda late at night, demanding to know why she would humiliate him in such a public way. "You think this funny?" he allegedly shouted. You think you can play with my name like that and walk away clean? Jayda, however, wasn't intimidated. According to a friend who overheard the conversation, she responded with chilling calmness. "I didn't even say everything I could have said. You should be thanking me." The friend described the silence that followed as the sound of a man realizing just how much power she still had over him. The emotional weight on Lil Baby was visible. At a recent appearance, fans noticed he seemed distracted, his usual energy dulled. Some speculated he had been crying before the event, pointing out his red eyes and subdued demeanor. "This not the same baby we know," one fan tweeted. "He looked broken." His supporters rushed to defend him, insisting he was just. Stressed from constant touring, but even they couldn't ignore the elephant in the room. Every camera flash, every microphone shoved in his face, carried the unspoken question: was Jayda telling the truth? As the scandal escalated, Lil Baby's family got dragged into the mess. Cousins, siblings, even distant relatives were bombarded with DMs from strangers asking for confirmation. His mother, who had always stayed out of the spotlight, was reportedly devastated. She feels like they're trying to destroy her son, a family insider revealed. She wants Jayda to stop, but she also doesn't want to believe the rumors herself. The family was split. Some stood firmly by Lil Baby, while others admitted privately that they weren't sure what to think anymore. The fractures in the family only mirrored the divisions among fans. Jayda's circle, on the other hand, began to back her more openly. One of her close friends went live, doubling down on her claims. "Y'all think she lying? Please? I was there when she found out. I saw how it broke her. Y'all don't understand the kind of pain she's carrying." The friend's passionate defense sent shockwaves through the fandom, making the story even harder to dismiss. Now, it wasn't just Jayda's word. It was corroborated by someone close to her. People started saying, "Where there's smoke, there's fire." But then came the twist nobody expected. A voice memo leaked to a gossip blogger, allegedly of Lil Baby himself, confessing to a friend about the humiliation he endured early in his career. In the shaky audio, a voice that sounded strikingly like Lil Baby's said, "Man, I ain't want to do it, but they told me if I ain't prove myself, I'd never make it out. They made me bow down, bro. They laughed at me. I ain't forget that." The authenticity of the clip was immediately debated, but for fans already on the edge, it was the final confirmation they needed. The phrase "bow down" trended on Twitter for hours. Emotions ran high everywhere. On YouTube, commentators cried on camera, saying they felt betrayed. "We looked up to him," one emotional fan said. "He was supposed to be real. Now I don't even know what's real anymore." Others tried to rationalize it, arguing that he was a victim of the system, forced into compromising situations beyond his control. "If anything, this shows how evil the industry really is," another fan posted. "He didn't choose humiliation. He chose survival." The debate became bigger than Lil Baby. It was about every artist who ever rose to fame too quickly. Every rumor of secret societies and hidden sacrifices. In the middle of the storm, Jayda decided to break her silence again. She posted a cryptic message on her Instagram story. "Funny how people still think I only scratched the surface." The internet exploded. What else could she possibly have up her sleeve? Was there more proof, more secrets she hadn't yet revealed? People speculated she might release screenshots, videos, or even testimony from others who had witnessed the rituals. The suspense was unbearable, and fans practically begged her to spill the rest of the tea. But Jayda wasn't just dealing with the public backlash. She was battling her own private demons. Late one night, she went live again, but this time her tone was softer, more vulnerable. "Y'all don't understand," she whispered through tears. "Loving someone who's been broken like that, it changes you. I wanted to help him, but he kept lying, kept hiding. How do you build trust on lies?" Her pain was palpable, and even some of her harshest critics admitted they felt for her in that moment. "She sounded like a woman hurt, not a woman clout chasing," one fan commented. "This deeper than what we thought." The fallout reached Lil Baby's business ventures too. Brands that had partnered with him suddenly grew quiet. hesitant to associate with the scandal. Fans noticed that one major endorsement deal mysteriously disappeared from his Instagram page. Gossip blogs hinted that sponsors were reevaluating their contracts in light of the controversy. Money was on the line now, and the pressure on Lil Baby was mounting. He can't afford for this to get any bigger, one PR expert speculated. But Jayda keeps dangling the threat of more revelations. It's a ticking time bomb. And then, as if the drama wasn't enough, another bombshell dropped. An anonymous source came forward, claiming that Jayda wasn't the only woman who knew about the rituals. Supposedly, several other exes of industry stars had similar stories but were too scared to speak out. Jayda just brave enough to say it first, the source claimed. Once she opens that door, don't be surprised if others walk through it. This chilling statement had fans wondering. Jayda had just ignited an avalanche that could expose more than anyone bargained for. As the days passed, the tension between Lil Baby and Jayda reached unbearable levels. Friends close to both sides said they hadn't spoken directly since the last heated phone call. But the energy between them was thick with resentment, betrayal, and unresolved emotions. Fans, glued to every update, knew that something bigger was coming. Because if part one of Jayda's revelations shook the internet, then whatever she was holding back was bound to shatter it completely. And with her cryptic hints still hanging in the air, everyone waited for the next bomb to drop, wondering if Lil Baby's empire could survive another hit. The storm that Jayda unleashed only seemed to gather more force as days turned into weeks. The suspense was unbearable, and the energy online was electric. Fans scrolled endlessly, desperate for the next piece of the puzzle. Jayda had made it clear she wasn't done, and the entire industry seemed to be holding its breath. Every story she posted, every song lyric Lil Baby tweeted, every friend who went livid, all became evidence. A clue, a possible crack in the armor. And then, one night, Jayda appeared on Instagram Live again. This time, she wasn't alone. Sitting beside her was her best friend, Ari, who looked just as ready to talk as Jayda. The live started casual, with music in the background, but soon Jayda leaned forward, her tone serious. "Y'all think I'm lying? You think I made this up?" she asked, her voice sharp. Ari quickly jumped in, shaking her head. "I was there. I saw what it did to her. I saw her come home crying, broken. This ain't no joke, y'all." The comments flew in, spill the tea, drop receipts, we need proof. Okay, and for the first time, Jayda hinted that she had more than just words. "I kept everything," she said, tapping her phone. "Messages, photos, videos. I ain't even dropped the worst part yet." The gasps in the chat were almost audible. Fans begged her to show something, anything. But Jayda only smirked and ended the live with a chilling statement. "Y'all not ready?" By the next morning, gossip blogs had exploded. Jayda claims to have evidence. The headlines screamed. Twitter was on fire with theories about what that evidence could be. Some believed she had compromising videos of Lil Baby, while others thought she had receipts of conversations with industry executives. The pressure mounted, and Lil Baby's silence grew even more deafening. Behind closed doors, Lil Baby's team scrambled. Insiders said they begged him to sit down for an interview, to deny everything directly. "You've got to take control of the narrative," one advisor reportedly pleaded. But Lil Baby refused, pacing the room in frustration. "If I say anything, I give her more power," he snapped. "The best thing I can do is stay quiet." Okay. But his quietness only made fans louder. And then came the twist nobody saw coming. A mysterious clip leaked online showing what appeared to be Lil Baby at a private industry party years ago. In the grainy footage, blurred faces surrounded him. And though the video wasn't crystal clear, fans swore it was him being forced into a humiliating situation. Laughter echoed in the background as someone shouted, "That's the price you pay." Within minutes, the video had gone viral, with millions of views across multiple platforms. The fallout was immediate. Fans were stunned, some crying in disbelief, others angry at the system that could break a man in such a way. "He didn't deserve that," one fan wrote. This industry is evil. But not everyone was sympathetic. Critics mocked him, memes flooded the internet, and hashtags calling him fake trended for hours. Jayda, of course, seized the moment. She posted a cryptic tweet: "Truth always finds a way out." Fans were convinced she had been the one to leak the footage, though she never confirmed it. Her silence was louder than words, and the internet ate it up. The emotional conflict for Jayda grew heavier. In private, she confided in friends that she still loved Lil Baby despite everything. "He's the father of my child," she admitted in a voice note later leaked. "But love don't erase what I saw. Love don't fix betrayal." Those words struck a chord with fans, especially women who felt she was speaking their own truths about toxic relationships. The internet began to split again, not just about the rituals, but about whether Jayda was a villain for exposing him or a hero for speaking out. Meanwhile, Lil Baby's closest friends began to drift away. Some refused to be seen in public with him, fearing the backlash. Others openly criticized Jayda, calling her bitter and manipulative. But the damage was already done. One friend reportedly told him, "Man, even if you innocent, this stain don't wash off easy." The scandal even reached other rappers, many of whom subtly weighed in without saying his name directly. One posted on Twitter, "Y'all's favorite ain't what he seem." Another dropped a freestyle with a line that fans immediately linked to Lil Baby: "Bow down to the gatekeepers. That's how you got your crown." The rap community was buzzing, with everyone trying to figure out who was telling the truth and who was just capitalizing on the drama. As for Lil Baby, insiders described him as spiraling. He allegedly spent nights locked in his room replaying the leaked video, furious and humiliated. "I worked too hard for this," he reportedly told a friend. "I can't let her tear me down." But the weight of the scandal was crushing. Brands continued to pull back. Fans questioned his authenticity, and everywhere he went, he felt eyes on him. Jayda, on the other hand, was glowing under the spotlight. She gained thousands of new followers daily, her name trending almost as much as Lil Baby's, though she insisted she wasn't chasing clout. The public perception told a different story. "She loving this too much," one fan accused. "If you really hurt, you wouldn't keep dragging it." But others defended her, arguing that she had every right to share her truth. The family drama escalated too. Lil Baby's mother reportedly called Jayda directly, begging her to stop. "Please, for my son's sake, for my grandson's sake," she pleaded. Jayda's response: "He should have thought about that before lying to me." That cold reply left the family shattered, torn between anger at Jayda and confusion over whether she was telling the truth, as if this scandal needed more fuel. Another woman stepped forward. She claimed she too had been close to Lil Baby in the past and confirmed Jayda's version of events. "Y'all don't know the half," she declared in a now viral live. "He did what he had to do, but he ain't the man y'all think he is." The internet lost its mind. Was this proof? Or just another person chasing clout off the situation? Either way, the narrative of Lil Baby being forced into humiliation seemed harder and harder to deny. Fans began to debate fiercely. Was Lil Baby the victim of a ruthless industry machine? Or was he complicit in his own downfall? Some argued he had no choice. That survival meant sacrifice. Others claimed he had betrayed himself and his fans by giving in. One fan summed it up perfectly: "Either way, he's broken, and we're all watching it happen in real time." By now, the scandal wasn't just a story, it was a saga. Every day brought a new leak, a new voice, a new angle. The suspense was unbearable, and the world waited for the next bombshell. Jayda had promised she still had more to reveal, and fans believed her. Lil Baby's career, his image, even his identity seemed to be hanging by a thread. And as the internet debated, speculated, and obsessed, everyone knew the climax of this drama was still to come. The saga reached its most explosive stage when Jayda finally decided to come forward with what she called the final truth. After weeks of speculation, half-reads, and cryptic posts, She announced she would go live at midnight to clear the air. Fans marked their calendars, gossip blogs hyped it like a pay-per-view event, and Twitter prepared for what many called the biggest expose in hip-hop history. The anticipation was unbearable, and by the time Jayda went live, over 500,000 people were watching. She appeared calm, almost calm, sitting in a dimly lit room with her phone propped up. Her eyes looked heavy, but her voice was steady. "I never wanted it to go this far," she began. "But since y'all keep calling me a liar, let me show you why I can't respect him anymore." She held up her phone and scrolled through messages. In one screenshot, allegedly from Lil Baby, he admitted, "They told me if I ain't play along, I'd never make it big. I hate myself for it, but I did it." The comment section exploded. Fans typed frantically, some screaming receipts, others accusing her of photoshopping. But Jayda wasn't done. She claimed she had voice notes too, though she didn't play them, at least not yet. Instead, she leaned closer to the camera and whispered, "He let them humiliate him, and then he lied to me about it for years." That's the part that broke me. Ari, sitting beside her again, added, "We told her to leave him so many times." But she stayed, hoping he would finally be honest. He never was. The live went on for nearly an hour, filled with emotional confessions, tears, and chilling hints that there were even darker secrets she had chosen not to reveal. "This ain't even the worst of it," Jayda said at one point, wiping her face. "But I got a son to protect. I can't put everything out there." That line sent fans into a frenzy, convinced that there were levels to the scandal that would never see daylight. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Social media timelines filled with shocked reactions, memes, debates, and arguments. Some fans called Jayda a hero for standing her ground, while others accused her of destroying a man she once claimed to love. The divide was brutal. She exposed him for clout. One fan tweeted, "No, she exposed him because the truth hurts." Another clapped back. It was a war of opinions with no middle ground. Lil Baby, on the other hand, finally broke his silence. Hours after Jayda's live ended, he posted a series of cryptic tweets. "Lies will spread faster than truth," he wrote in one. In another, he said, "I know who I am and God know who I am. That's all that matter." But fans weren't satisfied. They demanded a direct denial, something more concrete. His refusal to address the specifics only made the story grow bigger. With people interpreting his words as confirmation rather than defense, the emotional toll on both sides was undeniable. Jayda looked exhausted in the days following her reveal, but she continued to post glamorous pictures as if nothing was wrong. Insiders said she was battling private breakdowns, torn between relief at speaking her truth and guilt over the chaos she caused. Lil Baby, meanwhile, became increasingly reclusive. Sightings of him grew rare, and when he was spotted, kept his hood pulled low, avoiding eye contact with cameras. The industry's response was equally dramatic. Some rappers quietly unfollowed him, while others dropped subtle lines in songs that fans believed were aimed at him. One artist even tweeted, "The things y'all do for fame, SMH," which immediately sparked speculation it was a jab at Lil Baby. His reputation as one of the most authentic rappers in the game was crumbling, and the narrative around him had shifted permanently. The scandal began to affect his career in tangible ways too. One festival quietly removed his name from its lineup, citing scheduling conflicts, though fans weren't fooled. Another brand partnership reportedly froze, waiting to see how the drama played out. What once looked like an unstoppable rise now seemed dangerously fragile. Jayda's family remained divided. Some praised her for being brave, while others begged her to let it go for the sake of peace. She already said enough, her mother reportedly told her. "Leave it alone now before it destroys both of y'all." But Jayda refused. "I've been silenced for too long," she replied. "I'm not holding his secrets anymore." Her defiance made some admire her even more, but others accused her of dragging out the drama just to stay in the spotlight. The most heartbreaking part came when their son was mentioned. Fans worried about how the child would one day see all of this. Jayda admitted in another live that this was her biggest fear. "I don't want him to grow up hating his father or questioning me," she said softly. "But at the same time, I can't let lies keep poisoning me. I had to speak my truth." The raw emotion in her voice left many viewers in tears. The saga had become more than gossip. It was a cultural moment. Debates about masculinity, power, and the hidden costs of fame-dominated podcasts, YouTube channels, and even mainstream media outlets. Some commentators argued that Lil Baby was a victim of an exploitative system, while others said he had made his choice and had to live with it. The scandal was no longer just about one rapper, it was about the entire music industry. The idea of authenticity and the sacrifices artists make for success. And yet, through all the noise, one thing was clear: the story was far from over. Jayda still held back certain details. Lil Baby still refused to give a direct denial. And fans were left in limbo, caught between sympathy and disbelief. The final act of this messy, heartbreaking drama hadn't been written yet, but the scars were already deep. Friendships were ruined, families were divided, and fans were left questioning everything they thought they knew about fame, love, and loyalty. As the dust began to settle, at least for now, the internet couldn't stop buzzing. What's next? Became the question on everyone's lips. Would Lil Baby finally confront the allegations head-on? Would Jayda drop the alleged voice notes? Or would the story fade, leaving only whispers and speculation behind? Whatever the outcome, one thing was undeniable: this scandal had changed everything. The image of Lil Baby, the reputation of Jayda, and the way fans viewed the industry would never be the same again. And as much as people claimed they were tired of the drama, everyone knew they'd be refreshing their feeds tomorrow, waiting for the next twist in this never-ending saga. And just like that, we've reached the end of this roller coaster of a story, but the questions still linger. Did Jayda Wayda bravely expose the dark truths of the industry? Or did she go too far in trying to tear down Lil Baby's image? Is Lil Baby a victim of a ruthless system? Or is he hiding behind silence because the truth is too hard to face? Fans are still shocked, emotions are running high, and the family remains divided. And let's be real, this doesn't feel like the end. If Jayda still has more evidence tucked away, we might be looking at even more chaos down the line. What we've seen so far is just one piece of a bigger puzzle, one that exposes not only the cracks in a relationship, but the cracks in an entire industry. Betrayal, heartbreak, humiliation, and survival all mixed into one story that has kept everyone glued to their screens. The internet has made its verdicts, but the truth is, we may never know everything that really happened behind closed doors. And that mystery is exactly what makes this saga impossible to look away from. But now, it's over to you. What do you think? Is Jayda telling the truth, or is this revenge served cold? Is Lil Baby the victim of something darker, or is he guilty of betraying his own image? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop your opinions in the comments, because this conversation is far from finished. And if you've been hooked on every twist and turn of this drama, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next shocking update. Because if there's one thing we've learned from this story, it's that the tea never stops spilling. Stay tuned, because the next chapter might be even crazier than the last.